may not be in the room, but they're there. We all get one ticket that I'm responsible for, so keep track of your bill and just send me your money. I love y'all. Let the meeting begin. Okay. I have stepped away from the podium. I was going to say, we'll get back up there. Anybody have any thoughts or things they want to express? We have to do this again next year. They're looking forward to it. Yes. Okay. And I do want to say hi, everybody. Good to be here. Thank God. We're finally together again. Some of us, anyway. But I do want to thank, the reason we're having this meeting today is to get our reunion back on track. And the way this came about is my cousin Rudy called me one day and he said, "Cuz, I just can't take it, but we got to get together." And I said, "We've been talking about it, you know." And he says, "I don't care, just if we just get somewhere, I don't care, 5 people show up." He said, "It'll be 5 of my family members that I have to see." We all know how Ruby is. So I said, "Okay, I'll see what I can do." So I thought about it, then I called Pam. And I told her what Ruby said and what we needed to do. And from there, she just went and set it up, her. So I want to thank Pam so much. I want to thank Ruby for the start, Pam for doing all the hard work. So thank you, and we love you. Any thoughts, suggestions for next year? Yes, you were supposed to be thinking about it, Mike Harris. And those 2 back there laughing. You were instructed yesterday to think. Got some youngins in the house.
You know, we were talking a lot yesterday. The club was here, and we got a lot of different suggestions, and a lot of really interesting suggestions, places that we've not considered before. You know, one of those places being Oceanside, California. Another of those places being
and no overdraft fees. Banking with Capital
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Decision in the
You know, and we're talking about places where most people have to fly to, but you know, it is different, and Vegas, you know, is cheap, fairly cheap. You know, a lot of different things for families to do. Of course, the big thing would be the flight. You know, getting out there, and you know, so it's not exactly driving distance for most people. So you got to take into account things like that. But again, you know, those are just suggestions that were thrown out there yesterday. You know, Georgia's, of course, you know, we always have it here in Ohio, and you know, of course, any place on the East Coast is pretty good. So, yeah, so I don't know. I'm pretty open. Oh, and Florida, of course, you know, Tampa and Orlando. So those are fun places as well. So.
Florida's kind of expensive. I'm just letting y'all know right now. So.
So what's the deal? I just need to interject. Our 3 C's are cost, convenience, and children. That's most important to the whole group.
Yeah.
We have to keep that in mind. Allison.
Most important to the whole group. Do you want to go commercialized or stay family-lized?
I remember those parks and those picnics on Gettysburg.
My big request, though, I'd like to see the young people really take the lead and make it to what you desire for our family reunion to be. No discredit to us not as young as we used to be, folks. Ain't nobody old up in here. We all not as young as we used to be. because we want you all to carry it forward. We want you to take ownership, we want you to embrace it and make it what your vision is going forward, right? So, obviously, we want to be considerate of our more senior family members, you know, and as Pam said, you know, cost has got to be, you know, a priority as you set your agenda. But, you know, coming up with activities that, you know, appeal to you all, you know, don't worry about, well, the older folks ain't gonna go whitewater rafting because we want to.
We'll watch them.
We'll watch. You know, but come up with things that are exciting to you, that will make you excited every year. Man, I really want to go. I get to see my family. I get to do, you know, whatever it is. That's what we'd like to see. Obviously, do it whatever's safe, but whatever's fun, whatever makes you want to be with your family and enjoy that experience. That's what I think it needs to be.
That's right.
Can I say, before we go too far, can someone either record or take some notes? Kathy's doing it all, the notes are being taken.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I have a very great secretary.
All right, she owned it.
Yes,
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, I kind of want to expound on what he was saying, filling back in the back, because Florida is one of the key places, like he mentioned, and I love it there. I love it in Vegas too. I'll tell you another thing about Vegas, but Florida is kind of costly, but it's not that bad. When Amanda's not here, who you all know, that's Bailey's daughter, my Uncle Bailey's daughter. Amanda's not here. I don't know if she's coming tonight. She is. She is. But Amanda usually does a lot of planning, you know, for the brother and sister children. So if you all want our age group to take the reins as far as family go, y'all gonna be out there. Because what she does is, like, okay, for example, your household, or your brothers and sisters children, cousins, nieces, nephews, y'all might get a big old house. And we stay in Champion Gate all the time. Each household or whoever might get a big old house. It might be, I don't know, 20 y'all, something, you know, more or less. It's like $300 for the whole trip. You got places to stay. It's like a week. You know what I'm saying? Each person. So that could cover the stay part of your trip. Where I don't know how much it costs to do a hotel, but we're not going to be down there for a week, so it can be cheaper. But you have a big old house. Each family, we all stay in the same neighborhood. But then for the actual reunion, we'll find a venue. We will find a venue. Yeah, to everybody can get together. But even while we're in the neighborhood, we can bounce to house, you know, stuff like that. And it's real. I like it. I love it. I don't know. I'm making Georgia. But that's one of the things that she'll probably look at as far as like planning for it to go to Florida or whatever, you know, stuff like that.
So do you mean there's like a community of Airbnbs or VRBO?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have communities, okay.
Yeah, you have different
Okay,
neighborhoods, so like
it's not
Champions
like
Gate, and like Davenport areas like that.
Okay.
So you have big, they're like
So we're still in the
6,
same
8
vicinity.
bedroom.
We
Okay.
can be in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, it'll be the same.
Awesome.
It's like a neighborhood of, you'll have like 10 bedroom houses, like it's
That is awesome.
like,
Yeah, and it might hold on God knows how many. And for the smaller kids, you don't have to go to Disney if you can't afford it. You can go to fun parks, Busch Gardens. It's all kinds of stuff to do. And as far as Vegas goes, if we can get you in Vegas at least once, well then any other time we plan on going back to Vegas, it won't be hard because I'm gonna stick you in the casino. You know, that's what I do. So once you start getting points, you can travel for free almost to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? They just want you to come spend your money. You ain't got to. But they'll like give you free, and we can all kind of coordinate when we want to go take our trip. And it might not be so expensive that way. But now if you try to go out there on your own and stay in Caesar's Palace or MGM or Venetian, it's gonna cost you. But you can. It's all kinds of stuff you can do to make these trips not so expensive. Because like you said, you know, to come up with stuff that makes it exciting as well. Well, he was younger than me, but when me, Vaughn, and the Mud, Stefan, and all of us, we was ready to go. That was the thing to do. We can't wait for the family reunion to do. But now we're gonna have to have stuff like that so to make the younger people want to come because that's gonna be exciting. And like you say, for y'all might just sit around kicking it. Y'all might want to go do some shopping or some sightseeing, which is totally fine. You know, you have a tour, two of us take you, drive you around or whatever the case may be. But it's Florida. I love Florida. That's a nice place. That's a real nice place.
Yeah. Y'all can't come to Florida till we get a new governor. I said down there at Champions Gate, you know, Davenport area. There's a lot of, you know, Airbnb communities. You're nowhere to Disney, Universal, SeaWorld. If y'all remember when we had it down there before, I think we stayed on International.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking now just a few miles south, westward, headed towards Tampa. But still, right there, when I say a few miles, the Champions Gate is the next exit from Disney, from 192.
The International is a strip.
Yeah, that's the strip. It's just, it's right there, I drive.
But when he say Tampa's like, what, 40 minutes?
40 minutes.
I go to Hard Rock Casino. When I go to Orlando, I go straight to the casino anyway. But you got Clearwater Beach. You got Clearwater Beach. You go to Bridge, go to St. Pete. There's a lot of stuff to do in that area.
When you come out to the east, you know, to the East Coast, you got Melvin, Cocoa Beach, Playa Linda, Natural Beach. It's stuff to do, you know.
Excuse me.
When you get a new governor, that is.
Yeah, I mean, unless y'all go ahead and mess around and let me be your president. But, you know, for those of us who like to play golf, there's golf courses right there, Champions Gate. It's like 5 or 6 golf courses right there. Oh, okay. I ain't never played it. So I mean, that's a possibility, and if we do it, you know, we just have to figure out how we want to do it. I mean, I hope you know that, but we just need to figure out how we want to do it.
Y'all got it. Yeah.
JC?
Yeah, good evening. I'm JC Cannon. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee through the ATL. I've been coming to the unions forever. Yep. I was there down there in Florida. We got to consider a whole lot of things. First of all, if I'm taking my kids to Florida, there's no way in hell they're not going to want to go to Disneyland. There's no way. There's no way. No matter what you say or how you project it, they're going to want to go see Mickey Mouse. So let's be realistic. We got to also consider that we have this reunion always in August, and sometimes the heat can be unbearable at times. So we got to consider factors for not only the young but the old. We can't change the date. The weather's going to be the weather, but we have to take that into consideration. Vegas is great too, but the kids don't gamble a lot. They want to get out there too and have a good time. We've been to Vegas too, and I'm pretty sure we can find something for them to do.
Oh yeah, you can find something.
But the key is what age do you define kids? So what's a kid now? You know, 15, 14, 13, are you 10 and under? But yeah, we have things to consider. You got great suggestions, and I think because we're such a great unit, we could come up with an affordable plan. But it has to be affordable.
So you basically want to keep it to old school style, like we all just get together in the park, play kickball, baseball, stuff like that.
No, I didn't say it like that.
I'm asking. No, because I mean, I'm with that too. I mean, that's expensive.
No, what I'm saying is that
It's simple.
But may I say something? I'm all for Dwayne's idea as far as wanting the young people to take over. Let the young people come to us with whatever they come up with, and then we go from that angle. Yes.
We can do mentorship.
That is right.
And
Right.
just guide them along.
Yeah.
The young couple we got in Dayton, what's their name? I keep forgetting their names. You know the ones in
Retoya.
Right, and I am so proud of them because when we go to Dayton, they put it out. They even changed the venue from Dayton to Cincinnati in order for people to be happy enough so kids and adults can play. So yeah, I think, but look, but don't rule out California. No, see, I would love to go to California.
You don't know me no more. Now that Tony gone, you don't
Excuse me?
You never more than 2 days.
I'm from Dayton.
That was
Do we,
Alice.
I'm sorry.
if we're gonna do these type of reunions, I mean, do we extend it? Because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is really half a day Friday.
Right.
You know, to go out to Vegas and places, or Florida, or wherever, you know, Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday morning, that's a little short for a trip that are gonna be very, you know, cost oriented, you know, so we wanna make the most out of these reunions, I would think.
You know, that's an excellent point too, because even if you fly, everyone knows it's cheaper to fly Thursday than it is Friday.
Right.
And so that's something to consider as well.
And go back on Tuesday.
And go back on Tuesday, exactly, because those are the 2 days that are cheapest. And so that, on one hand, makes the air travel cheaper, but it also increases lodging costs and food costs. So you have to look at that trade-off.
And you have to look at the fact that a lot of schools are starting back up
They started school this week.
Yeah,
early.
which also plays into how much can you afford to spend if you have kids in school.
True that.
School.
True that.
So, is it, I know my forefathers, foremothers and everything, you know, started the reunion, but is it something that y'all want to keep traditional by having it on that week? Or can we?
No,
That's what
Yeah,
that
right,
is.
We just said,
It's just been so long.
Right,
Generations, we can't change.
right.
You can extend it. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
it started
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, you can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. If we started from Thursday to Tuesday, you changing the date. It's
You're not
all usually
really.
the first
As long as the
weekend
first
in August.
weekend.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about basically starting at the end of July to run into the first weekend in August, and depending on how the calendar falls. So you adding on extra days. And the extra days that would probably be worth adding on is falling into July, so it doesn't affect going back home to wherever home is when kids have to go back to school. And when the time comes for children to return to school, you know, you're still going real quick back into another budget of school supplies. And we know, since COVID, there's nothing on this world that's cheap nowadays, even collecting school supplies. So those are things that we have to think about. So we're still basically changing the date, which I'm fine with that. Started late in July to end up in the first week in August, and then everybody ready to go back to school. Because school starts back, for some places, August 7th up until the 21st. There's no September going back to school. Well, in Illinois, I can only speak for Illinois.
August the 2nd is started.
And that's the whole reason I was asking about where y'all sit on the tradition of it, because like if you want to consider all these things, we gotta consider being able to alter a lot of things.
Right.
You know, because I understand that, I mean, you know, if we want to accommodate all these things that we mentioned, we gotta take into consideration the dates, as she was saying, because that will be hard. You know, you want to have a reunion first week in August, and then you gotta dump right back to sending kids to school, and all this and that.
That's a discussion that goes on. That is not for here. That's like a major, and I would like everybody to be there for that discussion. So.
So I mean, what's like the per person cost, like on average, that's doable? I feel like that's really what it boils down to. If we can figure out, all right,
Household cost.
yeah, household costs or just per person, you know, and then, because we need to try to figure out an average. Obviously, some people are going to be coming from California. If we talk in Florida, that's a longer haul. And so if we can try to figure out, okay, what is like a target per person rate that we feel like is reasonable? And then from there, we can start to actually build out and, you know, do some research and figure out, okay, now lodging costs, taking that into consideration, taking flights into consideration, and then you can have a conversation of, all right, does there need to be some type of fundraising to help subsidize that for other family members, et cetera.
You know, we haven't been together collectively since 2019. We don't even know whose family has grown, you know what I mean? Like, how many babies are there now? And we gotta take into consideration how many kids do we have to prepare for, you know? Because we're doing my father's reunion, and it's not kid-friendly anymore because people are deciding not to have children now.
True.
You know, I'm talking about my girls now. So they're not having children. So, you know, and it's funny because it was geared towards the kids, but there's not any kids in the family anymore. So how many kids have been born since the last time we seen each other? You know, and what is the kid age now? Because when you were saying before, 13, 14, that was the kid age when we were growing up. We were running around playing. They don't do that anymore. You know, kids are toddlers. That's when, you know, they grown after that.
Well, they have opinions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they like to say what they like.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
So many things have changed.
maybe you may need to revert back to tradition on the first one that we've had since 2018 to 2019. Just to get it started back again.
Right.
And then from that point on, we can see what we got.
Right.
We can see how has it grown or decreased. So let's not outprice them so they can come. Let's underprice them so they can attend. If that's traditional, let's be that way.
If we do one traditional, they can still plan.
Right, we could
The
see.
young people
Yeah, we can still plan.
Right, because see, our sector used to always have dues. We paid dues into the chapel. And dues were utilized to overcome costs that people couldn't afford and all this. So it ain't like everybody had to be poor all of a sudden. So we paid into doing the whole year. Because everybody don't make the same income. And so, you know, we gotta, you know, really think about that, but we need to get it started back before we kill it again.
And the object of it, when I said, do you want to go commercialized or familyized, that was what I was trying to get you to see. You want to go to California and Vegas? Go on your time. You want to have a family reunion that's going to bring you together and see everybody in one kind of like group setting. You want to plan that. Now, as the young kids are there and growing and multiplying divider, yes, you need that section of that young person between the age of what is it? What's legally? 21 to 35 to play in their area, because they do different stuff, like the white raffin, like the whatever that thing is on the low ground that go like that. Anyway, then you got your other, Lanaya, 15, 16. You want to smack them, but you want to love them. Then you get their little section and have their little activity. The object of the family reunion really is to be together. If I went to California for a family reunion, you might see me once at the dinner. That's not what I came for. Rudy might get there late. He might get there right before the dinner. If I'm on an adventure in California, I might see y'all at the airport and say, girl, how was the dinner? I said, I know, I missed it. The object of family reunion is to come together in a sanctuary that's going to bond you for more than a half a day, but let you adventure into your own activities and still stay bonded.
Well, yes, that's right. That's right.
Ooh, you had to go there.
Yeah, I did. I'm speaking on everybody, I love that.
That's what you can do with that, because you love them.
So, the organization would be like, yes, the kids are better at getting like that activity together. They know how to, contacts, they know the contacts. They would get the contacts together, come to us in a meeting, put their stuff on the table. This is what we want to do at this time. If people do decide to start it early, come in on Thursday. Okay, hey, when allotment of this age group get in, this is when, and it'll still be daylight, this is when we will plan this activity. Get the group of us, minivan, pile y'all up in there, go, come back after you get finished. Take your time. Take your time.
But that, isn't that basically what we've been doing recently anyway? They have had, everything planned out, and so it included, everybody, and then we had those sessions where everybody was together.
Yes.
So, but we could probably have maybe less of you going here, me going there, and that. We could probably have more togetherness in it. But we have, have been doing the reunions more or less on what you have said. We had things planned. The younger people were, especially in our chapter, were more or less handling those things because they had activities for younger children and for everybody else. They tried to have a place that had those kinds of things, that could involve all ages.
That's right.
Right. And not that I dispute, not that I dispute the big cities, because I would love to go to Vegas and visit my son and see what type of activities he was involved in. But anyway, that's my issues. But I don't want to go there for a family reunion and just like you say, be rushed, miss this activity. I want to go walk the strip and see the dude on the skates that got that.
All right.
See, and I can't do that if I was
In the room, thank God.
That's a personal trip.
Well, the thing about it, you ain't gonna sleep no way.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Some of them folks going to sleep. They going to bed. I think she going to bed. If you, in your time, if you want to go out there and holler at you, what's up? I remember back when I was a kid, we had the hospitality room. And even after the program, all the older, my dad and James and whoever's in there drinking, they could drink a lot, go in there with, sneaking there, get some beer.
And then you want to play knock on the door with all the rest of
There you go. So we made our fun as kids.
Yeah, y'all sure did.
y'all have fun.
We couldn't find y'all half the time.
So y'all just, you can't worry about, I guess, what everybody gonna do in their time or missing something, because you're gonna do what you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because once we have the program, and then everybody chill the hospitality room, laugh and talk, then it's kind of like, we'll scatter out, and hey, cuz, let's go over here and do this. It's this down the street, I might sit there, hey, look, let's go down here, you know what I'm saying? That's just hide the family.
Right.
I think we're good.
Yeah, you know.
Hotels. They have to have a pool.
Yeah.
And, it's a nice area where you can go out and things are, that's how we've always done it. Because the pool was always the thing for the kids, that they did, as long as they were in the pool, they were good.
Nowadays, different generation. If you can hook that video game up in that room,
That's true.
they good.
But we don't wanna do that. We still do the same stuff.
Right, but now, that's when you gotta make them come
And I
down.
talked to my grandkids, we got more than that. And all, they were saying, as long as it's something, the beach or something, you know, they do have somewhere together, they can get orders or something, as long as they're fine.
Yeah, all I need is a location, you got you. Let me get a level of response.
And I'm sure the younger group will keep, they're gonna have that in mind about food and things like that. I don't think they will choose places that didn't have.
Well, it ain't no hotel we're gonna go to that.
You definitely have to, well, there's some, when you're going through trying to find deals, it's all business.
It is.
Hey, quick question, has there ever been any, consideration given to having like a family cruise?
We talked about that.
Because think about it, I mean, we're all on the same ship, it's not like we go all over the place.
We did that one time.
Oh, it was just a day trip. That was a day trip. He's talking about He's talking about it.
Yeah, but it was on the boat, we got on the boat, we ate some shit.
Yeah, but that's a dinner cruise.
Yeah.
That's two different types of cruises.
Yeah. Are you talking about it?
I'm talking about like a 3 or 4 day carnival,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what I'm talking about.
We're saying young people, we want the young Now you talk about where it's at, anything like that. We don't say definitely We've gotten off track. We've talked enough about where to have it and this, and where foods and where and that. Let's get back to, we're gonna continue, and if so, we would like for the young people to, take charge of most of it. They'll have us
To mentor it out.
to come to. And of course, when no one person is going to decide a place anyway, but the main thing is, are we going to continue to have them? And then we might decide where we're going to go.
We are definitely going to continue to have our reunion.
What group, or what group is going to have it next and all that stuff, and
We need to come together as a cohesive family and stop being separated by.
Right, that's the stuff.
It's
easier.
Do we want to do that? Do we want to do it that way? How are we going to do it? I think that's the most important thing right now, other than to keep talking about places.
So didn't they have chapters, like each state has chapters?
We have
Yeah,
chapters.
we got chapters, and
But we need to come together. We need to build our funds. It can't just be put in one chapter and okay, they're responsible for everything. The family is responsible. We need to come together and put that money in a pool that we can draw.
Well, that's one thing, that needs to
Instead of
be
having chapters, I see what you're saying.
done.
Because that's too fragmented at this
That
point.
we're gonna do it that way, rather than keep all this where it happened.
Okay, so without the chapters, we got a big money pool. Say we decide to go to Dayton. So our family in Dayton, they'll be still responsible for, coming up with a vision because they know the place, right?
Right.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
they can draw upon that pool.
Or, Michael, with these things with computers and stuff, you don't have to be there to choose. You can go on.
I
So
don't
it
live in
doesn't have to be on the date with people.
Here we are.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I feel you.
I think when we did, our chapter went to Dayton, right?
Yep.
We chose the hotel, they didn't. But we go in, no, we didn't go to Dayton. Did we? Oh, when we came to Atlanta. And you guys had a fit, but we decided to do it here.
Well, the only thing about it, I was saying people that, they can tell you, that hotel is actually.
My
As an example.
My vision
I
here
got you.
with the young people taking over, is that it's all of you. So you could decide to go somewhere, and then you could call one of the ones that, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Dwayne and Derek.
Yeah.
Derek, and say, man, we're going to go to South Carolina, I'm just throwing it there. Do you have any suggestions? You know, you guys have to start communicating all over with each other.
I said, so I could not say, I don't live here. So I said, okay, like, help me with a hotel. He gave me 3 suggestions. I had to call from somebody who lives here. And then the hotel helped me with the restaurant.
That's all I'm saying, like, how do y'all play? Cause like, if y'all wanna get this point across by not all being here, I feel like, or what you were saying about the old traditional way of family reunion, probably need to have one of those. So we can
First to get it back.
to get the point.
But that doesn't mean that we have to do that. That means that we can all be on our computers
So
and
what's the
whatever and
central-
find a spot to have a traditional.
Exactly.
So what's the
Something
location,
like what
the central?
When we went to Virginia Beach, so
Yeah.
everybody was in on that.
Exactly.
And Orlando, we went to Orlando.
Yeah.
That was a family.
I love Orlando.
Yeah, that's right.
I never had a meeting. We talked on the phone, we did emails, and everything turned out well.
And then, and also with that, everybody chipped in at the time. Greg gave money, Dave gave money.
That's why we just had
East
one
Coast
pot.
gave money. Before, it was more difficult. Now we've got, we've all got email, we've got Zoom, Facebook, so many ways, Slack, so many different ways to communicate.
Yep.
We just need to pick a platform, and then we can host meetings collectively, set up one account, let the money go to, that account. It's easy to manage, keep track of. We can set, policies and procedures in place. There's no,
Project management
this
tools.
does it different, this is another, I think it just makes more sense now.
We trust each other.
We're family, we live.
Well, once I run credit checks or whoever.
Background check.
I can show you.
But the point being is, we can have, greater management of the resources.
Yeah.
And then, everybody can put money into it. I mean, because the thing is, young folk, y'all got to contribute.
Right.
That's the thing. You have to contribute. We can always find money to do everything we want to do. And so this is no different. But if, young people talk about building generational wealth and things like that. Well, this is a part of that.
That's right.
Building of generational wealth, because for nothing more, you're gonna have kids. You're gonna want your kids to know who your family is.
Right.
And
So they don't marry each other.
so that your family can be proud of where they come from.
Just like we are.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, it should be just one group. That's just.
That's it, this one.
That's it. That's the only way we're gonna move forward. This is a new world.
Yeah.
We are here.
Sometimes you have to change to be able to make it.
That's right.
You gotta be different.
That's right.
Actually should have a board.
Gotta change.
Mike told me the other day, I think outside the box. Yep. What's a box?
So does that mean that the chapters are gonna be officially dissolved?
That would happen.
You can still meet as a chapter?
Is there gonna be, was there a board before? And if they are dissolved, then I would advise a board.
No, you got chapter, each chapter has its own individual board.
Right, I'm saying if the chapter's gonna be dissolved, then I think there should still be an existing board.
A board.
Well, there's gotta be a board that's
Somebody
put
got
in
to
place.
control.
That's what I,
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it makes sense to have, people participating on the board that are from the different geographic regions.
Yep.
Right, right.
I don't know
And
why you wouldn't wanna have someone from California, someone from New York, someone from Maine, someone from Georgia, someone from Florida.
Right.
Wherever we have family, to be a part of it, so that, again, the whole idea is to bring as many folk into it as possible. Yeah, I mean, as far as the individual chapters go, they can still meet, because, you know, there's always still Christmas parties or birthday parties and stuff that chapters did, you know, get-togethers, potlucks, whatever they want to do, just to get, you know, family in that geographic region together. That's still.
And then to the young people, when you have a board, that means you still do the work.
Yep.
So you're still in charge.
I understand.
So that we're still passing, not we, I'm saying whoever
We're so for
the
just
board is
oversight.
passing, you know, you can go to them or they can whatever. You're still in charge of finding that hotel, finding that venue and setting it up.
Right.
And doing all your communications.
I was talking to someone yesterday, I think it was a couple. We can, if we can get together and say, okay, I pledge this month, this much money a month to this family. It could be $1, it could be $5, it could be 20. But this is my pledge to the family for this year. I think that would work.
That would work.
He thought about a GoFundMe, but I said, no,
Nah,
just pledge. Just
nah.
give our money to the family.
Not my family, I mean, you know, I ain't saying, you know.
To go back to what DJ was saying, though, I think, you know, we do need to put an organizational structure in place where, you know, you have somebody president, treasurer, secretary, whatever, and then a board, you know, that, you know, they collectively come together, set the direction, set the tone.
Exactly.
And then the other thing about it too, I've seen this in other families where they decide they're gonna do something. I don't wanna go because that's not what I wanna do. Well, that's not the point. That's not the point. You know, the idea is to come together. Even if we decide we're gonna have a family reunion in the back alley. Well, let's all go to the back alley. You know, because that's where the family is going to be. And that's got to be the overarching reason for getting together. Otherwise,
Why we here?
why are we here?
I love y'all. This is wonderful.
So, all right, so off of that, I know it'll take some time to organize the organizational structure. But what is a location that's kind of centrally located for everyone that we can try to get to? What I mean is like, what's a location that the most people could get to easily? And, you know, financially. And then, you know, we can start building from there. So what?
I think that conversation we wanted to have with everyone is what we're saying, because not everyone's here.
Right,
So I
yeah, I
think
guess,
that'd be established.
yeah, unless somebody knows off the top of their head, but.
We can start today and just send it
Yeah,
out.
just, if we can come up with like 3 options, because then we can, from there, could send out, you know, communication to try to narrow it down.
What would be
Yeah,
your best choice?
Right.
Excuse me.
Right, pick a top 3.
Explain that to me, I kinda got lost.
What I'm saying is, what's the location, we already decided, hey, we're gonna go more the traditional route, alright, so that's south. Now, what's a central location that will make sure the most people, the most members could get to easily? Right, as far as like not far travel, that sort of
Cost
thing.
effective.
Right, cost effective, so what is that location that can maximize, if we wanna maximize the people attending, what is that
That's
location
hard
we're looking
because
at?
you have like Rudy and Selena and my son and his family, they're gonna come from California every time. So there's no central for them.
That's dedication.
That's dedication. And Rudy usually has all his kids coming too. So, I mean, they're adults, they're not little, but they all come.
We all kids.
So, I think what we do is just pick places
That makes more sense.
and then just send out, you wanna send out 3 places for people to choose,
Right, and they
then
can
that's
choose.
fine.
Why don't Zoom it? I mean, do something, you know, because, you know, we got so much technology.
That's
So we don't have to be there to be there.
right, exactly.
So if we want to keep chapters, I think.
No, we don't, we don't
What you
wanna
mean is, if we keep regional committees, or whatever we may call it, whoever needs to focus on fundraising.
Well, yeah, that's what we already talked about,
Okay.
Mr. Lee.
Yeah. Going for it.
Hey, I'm here, I came from California. And I'm sure we talked about fundraising, but when I walked in, we were talking specifically about making sure there's regions that meet.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is the focus, one of the main focus of those regions meeting should be fundraising in some capacity. Whether it's a bowling party, whether it's a pay $5 for the potluck or $10 to whatever the case may be. Even if it's not a chapter, to help alleviate some of that pressure on people who are wherever and traveling, that just helps. I mean, it just helps. If you raise an extra $1,500 over the course of a year.
I think what happened was Pam was saying.
I suggested a pledge.
And
The monthly pledge. But in addition to the monthly pledge, if regional folks want to do a fundraiser, says, well, you know, it can't hurt if we can get an extra $500, $1,000 from 40, 50 people over the course of a year to go towards it. Now, it won't be any, and that fundraiser doesn't mean people are coming out of their pocket. It can mean what we did years ago. We raffled off the TV, you know? So it could be anything. It doesn't have to be anything coming out of individuals.
I'm not doing no candy sales anymore. I'm done with that.
That's fine, but some people might not have a problem with it. But what?
I'll send you.
Because nobody want to buy a box.
That's no. I don't want to buy candy. It's not in my diet.
That way, that's, I'm just saying,
that's what it takes to do it.
because this is something you young people talk it over. Zoom out, decide what you're gonna do.
My age is
That's right. And that's it. And maybe you can come to the board with some stuff, right?
I see my doctor.
And that's what you
Then you come to the board and say,
Because they've been there doing it, that don't mean they know everything, so you guys come up with the ideas.
Y'all talk to each other. You don't need to talk to others.
Make it work.
That's what I'm thinking.
In the slide, right. Can we get just 3 locations? We need 3, that's it. Just
Okay, you want 3?
3 locations.
Take the turn of the wheel.
Okay, I'm out of this.
See, that's the purpose of,
Y'all work it out.
that's the purpose of the traditional style. That's the purpose of the traditional style, really, to kick it back off. They want
They want
we
you
expect
to help, okay.
everybody to be there so we can present, so we can present what you all are wanting us to do or passing down to us to do. You feel me? Because everybody, quite naturally, nobody's here, everybody's not here right now, so what he was saying is,
He just wants.
let's relocations
We
that we feel
understood
like
that, Michael.
everybody could, you know,
Could get
go
to.
to. No, I'm not saying y'all understand.
What about Ohio? Is Ohio kind of centralized for everyone?
So Dayton's one.
So,
I was thinking
you
Ohio.
know,
I haven't been to Ohio in
I was thinking Chester.
I was
I was thinking.
And
Virginia, you said Virginia, so.
So, I mean, none of them are central to me.
Yeah.
Well, we already said that.
Cali knocked out, I'm sorry, yeah.
I don't have
So what would be central to you?
functional
What would be central
workers
to you?
anymore.
I
I lost half my crew last year.
No, I'm not saying go to Texas. What I'm saying,
Now, but
Alright, Allison, don't.
You already made your speech, what's going on?
The first one was a baby.
Uh-oh.
Oh, see?
That's the reason why.
having it there is still not a problem. It's just that, and I don't see none of my young people.
Oh, you're
being
talking
here.
about David, if they had it in David.
Yeah, then that's when I would need the help. Okay?
Okay, so.
What I'm turning stuff. Go ahead, finish. Go on now.
Allison, what we're saying is not gonna fall solely on the region.
No, and it wouldn't be, that's what I'm saying, but when it comes,
You got to help with the people that's in
we
here.
got the help. It's just I would need more help from y'all.
Oh,
Okay, well, that's a good neutral place, and we have very lovely vineyards now that are more accommodating to our scenario with more adventures on their platform. So, yes, I would like to consider Ohio.
That more people would be involved, so it wouldn't just be on.
Right, right.
One.
So, yes.
I got you.
Doesn't that
Yes.
kind of go back to where it originally started?
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to go back to build our roots and not be.
What's the third place?
Did we come up
So we said Dayton, Virginia, and what was the third one?
Did he say Texas?
What's wrong with Atlanta?
Well, he said,
That's all I was wondering.
I was gonna say like Dayton and Atlanta. Most of our ancestors came from right here, and they branched out and ended up in Ohio, and then branched to Chicago and
oh, so there it is.
Came from Ticknell, Georgia.
So there
But the first reunion was in Ohio.
Right. So
In Ohio.
if it had to like the kids on the bus. So if it just had to be Ohio, Atlanta, and then you need a third one, then would be the first, and then that next one.
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, Atlantic City, I was down there last weekend.
Yeah, we went to Atlantic City.
It is not what it was.
Okay.
If we get back to how it used to be, and we just said Dayton. Dayton, Ohio was the first reunion that we ever had, when my grandfather died in 1964. And the reunion started in Dayton. Yes, they all came from Ticknell, Georgia, because when I say to people where my dad is from, and I say Ticknell, Georgia, I'm from Chicago, they be like, where is that? I had to look it up. So me personally, I think, Allison, you're gonna have the help in here. You know, you get on my nerves sometimes, but you know I've always been at your side, and I would be there to help you. You know, and I'm gonna tell you, the year we had it in Chicago, I was a little bit disappointed, even though we had a wonderful time. And the reason why I was disappointed, when we have it in Dayton, when we have it in Georgia, we get a lot of family. But when we had it in Chicago, I can count the people on my hands that came to that reunion. And yet, we still had a wonderful time. Yes, we did. We had a good time. And when people think of Chicago, we wasn't in Chicago. And we had a good time to where we were. It was just like back in the day. My daughter, Pam, and myself, my brother, my sister. Count those people.
All school picnic.
We did a thing.
If you forgot it, it's on the video, HRB. It's on the video. Just to remind y'all that it's there in case you want to go back and remember what you forgot. It's still there.
And like I said, I was disappointed because a lot of people did not show up, but I promise you, every time it's in Dayton or Atlanta,
They gonna come.
they gonna come.
They gonna come.
And I think it's a shame that they ended up in Florida, because one time when we had it in Florida, we did not have a lot of people. Not like it was when we go to
There was a lot of people, but they was all at Disney World.
Exactly. But you see my point. Not like it do when it's in Dayton or Georgia. And personally, Chicago's was the weakest. And I made gave myself a vow that I probably wouldn't even do it no more. We supposed to be family.
We saw how hard you worked. We were there.
Oh, yeah.
We saw how you issued the food, how you got the people together. Just something about it. And my sister lived in Chicago, she came down. Right.
So we got to structure it better than what's going on. So what's the format? What's the plan?
I think what happened was, I keep forgetting your name. DJ said, can you suggest 3 places? It didn't have to be places where chapters were.
Right.
So I think what Michael and I was about to say Chesapeake out. Can't you two other places where there's no chapter and then have 3 places?
Get out of the box.
I'm thinking, the way I was thinking when JC said, the next reunion, let's try to do it kind of traditional with the new people planning it. And then we could go from there and see what next things were coming. Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, well, that's what it should be.
So if you do 3 places, that just make it where there's no chapters, because that, no chapters are gonna be responsible. The young people are still gonna put the reunion on, but they're gonna do it in the first time traditional way. So that they can get a footing, that's what they wanna do.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's the way I understood.
That's correct. That's correct.
The only concern with that is making sure that they have the people that, if there needs to be leg work.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, I'm thinking about it. So if we say, let's have it in St. Louis, Missouri. Right, to do some amount of leg work, you know, because there is certain, you know, venue qualifications that you got to do.
Okay, when we had, when our chapters chose places, we had Myrtle Beach, we had Philadelphia.
Right.
Where else?
Tennessee.
We were doing, you do stuff from the computer, you doing stuff from home when it's found.
Yeah, Philly we kind of.
And you just, you know, that's it. You don't, somebody might not, nobody lives there, you know, I don't know. I was wanting to go to New Orleans at one point, I'm still getting things. And the people that are doing the footwork is, you're on the phone, and you're calling the people at the hotels, and you're asking them all sorts of questions, and you're looking. These young people are gonna be doing the footwork on their computers.
My cousin just said Charlotte.
Yeah, we all were talking. And where's that? What about North Carolina, Charlotte?
Charlotte's a place.
Okay, so now we got Chesapeake and Charlotte, North Carolina.
And put Vegas.
I mean, Charlotte, North Carolina. What's the third person?
I think it should be Dayton. So I think give them people a traditional one, and then some of the 2
When
options.
you're saying traditional, every one we do is traditional, no matter where it is.
Location.
Let's do location.
Heritage-based location.
Okay, so
Is that I gotta use the 2023 word.
That's it, I said, you're learning already.
Put a bow on it.
Okay, so
I gotta get my pronouns together.
Did we go back and do the bring up Texas because somebody brought it up? That's not, we haven't named it.
3 places out, please.
North Carolina,
Charlotte, Chesapeake, and whatever the third.
Chesapeake, Virginia.
Vegas.
You
You gotta tell me why not.
You named Atlanta once, I don't know what you're doing, now I'm confused.
That was a heritage. No. Not anywhere where there's a chapter.
This is just, this right, I mean, picking the place down and having it just a resurrection. So, you know. Yeah, it's not.
So what's the third place?
Cincinnati?
Keep changing.
Yeah, what about Cincinnati?
That'd be different.
Oh, we had it there.
But I mean,
Easy access.
How long ago was it?
I say Cincinnati, put Cincinnati on the list.
Remember, Dayton's was in Cincinnati 2 years ago. So,
Are we doing
Say what? Why don't we do
Dayton
New
had
Orleans?
theirs in Cincinnati, remember.
How about New
I
Orleans?
really need your help.
Wait, New Orleans, that is new. That is new.
Nobody's
got
done New Orleans.
No, that's.
Yeah, but I thought y'all was like.
That's not that far from
trying to get,
Georgia.
like-
Georgia said they gonna do the
The
first one.
relocation.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's not traditional where the place is. They're saying that they want to do it
Traditional style.
Format.
the format of wherever the reunion, and they're going to depend on everybody, all the chapter people. They want to go there.
Excuse me. Hold up.
As traditional said.
I gotta use my
That's right.
man voice now.
See, all you late people that are coming in.
But again,
Go ahead.
Okay, so what about Dayton and Atlanta? So that's out of the picture or?
No.
Okay,
Remember,
so
what
why not do it either Dayton or Ohio,
Can I ask one question?
Ohio or Atlanta?
Go ahead.
It's the start all of it.
all right, so the original point of why I brought up the locations is trying to maximize, so I want to keep everybody to keep this in focus, is to maximize the number of people who can attend. That's the prime objective. Because of everything that we were just talking about, right? We're trying to get this going back again. So that is the prime objective over any location. Like particularly whether we've been there, we haven't been there, whether there's a Disney World in Bourbon Street, like that's beside the point. Point is maximizing attendance. So what are 3 locations that can maximize attendance?
Attendance.
For the next reunion, is that what you're saying? For the next reunion, there's 3 places, we need to select one of those 3.
Of our best guesses based on
Okay.
the information we know about our individual families and where they're located, etc. What are 3 locations based on those criteria?
And I'm hoping, once we choose that, and we can figure out, okay, we're gonna jump this off, that's when you guys, our elders, present to the whole family, collectively, your plan for making the money pot for the ongoing. Why not?
That would be.
Look, put your hand down. No, y'all been arguing too much, man. I'm saying, that's true. We're trying to get you, make sure we're on the same page, trying to give you what you want. So we're just trying, this family reunion that we find in these locations will be the resurrection of here at Rayford Bullock Family Reunion. Now, at that family reunion, we're gonna pass on the message that you guys are passing on to us today. You see what I'm saying? So we can get the committee started, make it a format. It's got to be organized, because I can't stand conflict. I don't like turmoil. So, that's right. So let's calm down, pick a place to have a reunion, and then we, as cousins, young cousins, will come up with the theme. They can spend communications, all that stuff, because I can't keep going back and forth about this place, that place.
That's what
Okay, so
we have to hit the ground tomorrow. And get people interested.
But we've said Virginia Beach, we said Charlotte, and we said Cincinnati.
Okay,
So
all
make
right.
it-
And we just make a decision between those 3.
No, that's not what he wants. They just wanted a group of areas so they could see.
Exactly.
I know what you're saying.
But you got to pick, so.
So we only picking between 3 places.
How do you pick when the majority, as long we've always voted?
Sending that out.
So here, so this was Derek's idea.
They pick them 3, send them 3 out to the people everywhere.
Exactly.
And then when you call back, when you send your little card in and say, I picked Virginia Beach, the young man next to you, and then Cousin Joe picked Virginia Beach too, bam, bam, that's 3 Virginias. My dude right here, he got Vegas and I mean, whatever else is on there. Okay, that's what we looking for now. Just the 3, just the 3. Just 3. Hello. Just 3.
Let out. You gonna send that out to the family?
Yeah.
I need the family to respond.
Exactly.
Immediately.
But may I ask a
Not wait
question?
until November to say, okay, let's move on.
Yeah, we could put
We
it
got to
on.
hit the ground
So
running.
the three are.
We have a question back here.
What's the form of communication going to be? Because everybody is not on
There are
Facebook.
people who are not online.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
done-
send out mailings to the chapter presidents.
Well,
And that's why I'm still getting the chapters back.
we need to start building, getting emails, current emails. I mean, you can do survey monkey if you want to, if you had everybody's email. And
Everybody's not online. Some people get physical.
yeah, I mean, but most everybody got a cell phone and get it.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, Pam, but at the same time, if you want us to pass it on to the younger people, then this is where the older people kind of need to help us out if you want that to happen.
We're in the age of
Like,
technology.
it goes back, both ways. And so,
Several ways of communication.
Okay.
We gotta use it.
To that point.
Way we did things was the chapter chose place. We didn't go and ask everybody.
Right.
So today, I don't understand why out of 3 places, this group can't choose one.
Exactly.
And y'all get to work. Y'all are trying to put off the work. Not too bad.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get you to give it to us so we can do it.
When we met today was to get this back on track. That was the thing.
I say Charlotte.
I
Like Charlotte?
I'm in Charlotte.
We need a survey.
What's the next one?
First of all, hold it a minute.
Slow down.
Slow down. We're in the vote now, am I correct?
Yes.
Do it today, which is what I thought we were gonna do. So, all right, so give us first the 3 choices, let us think about it a minute, and then take the vote. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 choices, please.
Looks like Chesapeake, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
Y'all think about it.
Yeah. I'll back out.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, time's up. We have a few minutes.
We got about another 30 seconds.
who need 30 seconds?
I gave him a minute.
And it's 30 seconds left.
You wasted your time out there, young lady, you worried about the time. Okay, now here we go, time's up. Call out the name,
Chesapeake, Virginia.
which is Virginia Beach.
Virginia
Oh,
Beach.
okay, thank you.
5. Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's overwhelming.
And we're doing it.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, what is this one?
This Cincinnati? This is Cincinnati? No,
Oh, okay.
that was the other one.
Okay.
There you go, Chris.
Another lady.
He just gonna show up.
Yeah, he texted me if he was sleeping.
We got 5 for Chesapeake, which is Virginia Beach. We got 12 for Charlotte, and 8 for Cincinnati.
Okay, y'all, get busy.
But before we go, We talked about the organizational structure, but we need people who are going to put it together.
That's right.
So it can be there, because not only do we have to decide how it's going to be, we will probably need to have some, I don't know if we need bylaws and things like that with her, but also then, when are we going to elect those people to serve on, in those offices on the board? And to me, that needs to be done.
Right now.
Yeah, by, I would say probably no later than, the beginning of the next quarter, this calendar year quarter. I mean, things got to happen, because the planning, I think Pam had mentioned a moment ago, which is true, anybody that knows to plan this stuff, y'all gotta start planning this tomorrow, Mondays, because it really does take a year. You don't have that much time. So I don't know how we're going to do that part of it, get things set up organizationally, but it does need to happen.
Young people, ask
So let me ask you this. I don't know, I'm not cousin Bill, but my thing was, when we get this one off the ground, once we get everybody out there, we're gonna have to have another one of these kind of meetings.
Yep.
You feel me?
I
Right.
agree. Once we get us together, like we supposed to, then we can formulate that.
I do. And but you're right, but what I'm saying is,
We need money.
We can kick this one off. Us here.
But they're saying that
Y'all
y'all
don't
order it right now, because we can say we can kick it off, but we gotta have it in place. When we leave here, who's gonna start it? That's what they're trying to figure out right now. That's what we're trying to communicate right now. We can't leave right now and say we're gonna put it together, then who we gonna communicate to?
But he want to pick the board, he want
make a suggestion.
That's good.
Yeah, make a suggestion.
But this is what we're gonna have to do.
Here's what I would suggest. Here's what I would suggest. Mike, DJ, Derek, all of y'all get together right now and say, we gonna do this thing. We don't have to have that part formalized. I think going forward, what I'm speaking about, because there needs to be financial accounts set up, all of that needs to happen, but who's gonna plan the reunion and get started making phone calls come Monday morning? That can be y'all right now. I mean, we don't have to vote on that. Y'all just say, step up and say, hey, I got this.
Y'all can tell us to get out and y'all can get started.
Y'all get out there.
I'm serious.
I'm serious too.
I'm serious too, okay.
I know my mother, my aunt, they get to, I know y'all, we gotta get kind of.
And I understand, we don't need the camera running, okay?
No, I'm gonna take it with me, because I don't want no evidence of this.
They got some good ideas.
No, I'm gone. No, I said, I don't want no evidence of this. I'm shutting it down. I don't want no